Have you ever wondered how waste is getting processed? As part of the Tech Tuesday series, we are going to look at the various technologies, processes, machineries which are out there to process waste. If you are an entrepreneur planning to enter waste management, then you might have wondered how to choose or identify a suitable trash technology. If you are a researcher or organization, you might have wondered how to do due diligence on a trash technology in terms of compliance or sustainability factors. If you are a general public or a policy maker, this would have definitely come across your mind. There are so many amazing technologies, innovation to process waste, but then why there is so much of waste still left unprocessed? That is what we are going to see as part of the Tech Tuesday series. I am Praveen Kumar, the creator, educator at Thrash the Trash, an online learning social platform for you to create an impact or income in waste management. Let's get into the video. In this video, I'm not going to start reviewing or analyzing any trash technology, but rather we are going to take baby step, a very solid foundation. As part of that, we are going to see something called the 8 R's of trash technology. When I say 8 R's, I'm not referring to repair, reuse or recycle. I'm not talking about that. When I say 8 R's, I'm referring to raw material, resource, recovery or output, recovery rate or output quality, residue, repair and maintenance, risk mitigation and routines. What is this 8 R's? How is it relevant to trash technology? Let me tell you how. This 8 R's is going to tell you how safe is a trash technology. Not a literal safe, but when I say safe, I'm referring to suitability, viability, feasibility and the economics. Whether the trash technology is suitable for your market or geographic location, whether the trash technology, the process or the machinery, is it viable? Will it be able to survive in the long run? Feasibility. Will you be able to execute and successfully commission the project in your market or geographic location? Economics. Irrespective of the investment, will you be able to get the money back? Will there be a return on investment? So the 8 R's is going to tell you how safe is any trash technology. Since 8 R's is a huge topic, in today's video we are going to look at one of the 8 R's, which is nothing but the raw material. When I say raw material, of course it is waste, but you need to understand there are more than 25 trash types out there in the market, and within that there are multiple categories. When I say waste types, I'm referring to plastic, electronic waste, battery, metal, wood and so on. And when I say categories within the waste type, I'm referring to ABS, PET, LDPE, HDPE, multi-layer plastic and so on within the plastic waste type. And within electronic waste, we have IT products, white goods, small household appliances, electrical and so on. And within metal, we have copper, aluminium, iron and so on. So the raw material is nothing but the waste type and the categories within the waste type. Let's take a deep dive. Let's go one by one. Number one, are you going to first select the waste type and then going to choose or identify a relevant technology, process or machinery? Whether it could be for recycling, dismantling or re-engineering, it could be any of those. Or is it going to be the other way around, where you might have heard or read or seen about a trash technology, the process or machinery, and then you decided this is a technology I have to go for, and then you started researching the raw material which the machine may or may not accept. It could be any one of the two. In my macro niche clarity blueprint course, I have spoken about the multiple trash types which are out there and how you can choose or identify one trash type depending on various factors and research methodologies. It could be based on the lifetime of the waste, the product, the impact level, the demand and so on. For example, you might have selected plastic as the waste type because of the environmental problem that is it creating, or you might have selected electronic waste as your waste type because you would have read or heard or seen that there is gold in the electronic waste, that you want to recover the gold from the electronic waste, or there is so much of electronic waste left out there, so let's explore the opportunity. So because of that reason, you might have selected electronic waste as your trash type. But let me tell you one thing. As per the mainstream media and the estimates, India generates 3.2 million tons of e-waste every year. But as per the governing agency, the Central Pollution Control Board, it is reported close to 1 million ton was generated. Where is 3.2 million tons and where is 1 million ton? I'm going to leave it up to you to analyze and research on this. I'll be talking about this in a separate video. Coming back over here, you might have selected a waste type for a social reason. For example, agricultural or food products, 1/3 of it gets spoiled before it reaches the consumer. So you thought this is a problem that you should address so that that food can be given to underprivileged or malnourished people. So because of that reason, you might have selected the agriculture or food product. Point number 2, quantity. The raw material quantity is going to influence the machine's capacity. So accordingly, you will choose the volume of the machine. Or if it is the other way around, that you have chosen a technology and this is the minimum capacity or certain capacity it has, then you will start doing your research whether you will be able to source that much raw material from the market. There are 3 possibilities. You might have underestimated the raw material availability. In that case, what is going to happen? You might have selected for a low volume machine capacity. You can't do anything. If you want to increase by operating on 2 shifts or adding additional machine, that is going to require a change in your compliance paperwork. Without that, you won't be able to increase or ramp up your production capacity. The other possibility is that you have overestimated the raw material availability. In that case, what is going to happen? You have got a bigger machine with a bigger volume to process, but you're not able to source that much material from your local. So then what is going to happen? You will expand your radius to procure material from outside, and you will go far and wide to collect the raw material, or you have to import. But you need to consider 2 factors over here. The distance is going to make or break the business depending on the business model. When I say business model, recycling, dismantling or re-engineering, the logistic cost might break or make the business model. Let me tell you how. Let's say that you want to do recycling, which is nothing but recovery of the virgin material from the waste. Whatever is your input raw material, it is market defined. You can go little bit above or below, but you can't have a very wide variation in terms of the raw material pricing. And waste is generally given to those who pay the highest price. So because of that reason, your input raw material is somehow fairly bound by the market condition. And let's look at the output. I'll be making a separate video on the output in terms of the resource or the output, the recovery rate or the output quality in a separate video. But over here, the output, whatever you are going to recover as part of the recycling, again it is bound by the market dynamics. So you can't sell above that market pricing, then people may not be interested to buy the material from you unless until that product has something special or there is a demand for the product. Otherwise, what is going to happen? The input or output when it comes to recycling is controlled by the external factors, the market conditions. So the only place where you have complete control is your operations, your logistics. So in that case, it is going to create a problem. So you have to plan, strategize according to that. Look at the other one, re-engineering, where you're converting the waste into a product. For example, from metal, you're converting into utensils or maybe TMT bars. Then what is going to happen? The end outcome is a product. Product has its own margin. So in that case, you will be able to cover your cost. Even if you go far and beyond, even if you have to import, still you will be able to cover your cost. I'm not saying that re-engineering is the best option compared to recycling. I'm just giving you a scenario to you. The other factor is that you can't go for import for all of the waste types. For example, import of e-waste is banned in India. Some other countries have certain policies. Same goes for plastic, certain waste, right? So that is also something that you have to bear in your mind. Import is going to be cheaper, but then look at the regulations, the compliance, what the rules is about, what the rule says. Coming to the third possibility, where you have made a very accurate judgment in terms of the raw material availability and then you have decided the machine capacity. But this third possibility is highly unlikely, because if you want to go that accurate, that means you have to spend more time and money to analyze and come up with a correct prediction. Since in developing and undeveloped nations, the informal sector, the unorganized sector, they control the market. So because of that reason, it's too difficult to accurately predict the raw material availability. Not only the informal sector, for a variety of reasons, it's going to be difficult to predict the raw material availability. The geopolitical situation also influences the material availability. So considering that you can't expect answers to all of your questions, and if you want to be very perfect, then it is not going to happen. There are certain risks that you have to take, whether it is going to be a stupid risk or is it going to be a well calculated risk with a mitigation plan. So what is it going to be? So this is about in terms of the quantity. Coming to the next factor, the input form. In what form will the machine accept the raw material? Will it accept the raw material as such, the waste as such, or does it require any pre-treatment? If it accepts the waste as such, then you have to just feed the machine and it is going to process and give you the output. Or some pre-treatment has to be done. It could be in terms of cleaning or de-dusting or removal of certain components or sorting. It is going to require time and money because you have to do a pre-treatment before it is fed to the machine. So that is going to take extra time for that pre-treatment step. If you have to deploy a machine, it is going to cost you money, or if it is going to be done manually, then also cost is going to be involved, time is also going to be more. So what is it going to be when it comes to the input form? Coming to the next aspect, the quality of the raw material. And if you think how quality is relevant to the waste material, waste is scrap, piece of shit, but it's not like that. There are qualities, grades within the waste type itself. Will the machine accept only pure form of waste? When I say pure form, I'm not talking about the cleanliness. I am talking about a particular category within the waste. Let's take PET bottle. Will the machine accept only PET bottle? Then the whole batch, if it is only PET bottle, it's in the pure form. There is no other plastic or some other material is not there mixed in that batch. That is what I'm referring when I say pure form. Will the machine accept only pure form, or can it accept mixed form? Mixed form in the sense PET is mixed with some other plastic type, but then to what extent? If there is too much of mixture, will the machine be able to process and give you a better output, or what is it going to be? What goes in and what comes out? If the input is going to be mixed, the output is also going to be mixed, unless until the technology process or machine is doing something internally in terms of sorting or segregation, depending on the technology. So what is it going to be? Or what if the input raw material is contaminated? Let me give you a very typical example. Pizza box, the pizza corrugated box. If it is contaminated by grease, oil, cheese, or by some other food, it is going to be difficult to recycle that batch. The same you can apply for other waste type. So will the machine be able to accept the waste type if there is a contamination, or something has to be done to it in the form of pre-treatment, or should the batch be rejected? So what is it going to be in terms of the quality? How quality matters, this is what I'm going to talk about in the future Tech Tuesday series when I talk about recovery or the output, the recovery rate or the output quality. Coming to the final part, you might have selected a waste type depending on any criteria, then the quantity part. Now let's try to merge these two. Again, multiple possibility comes because there are multiple waste types, multiple categories within the waste type. So what is going to be your choice? The raw material and the quantity. Are you going to go for multiple waste types, or all category within a waste type, some category within a waste type, or you're going to go super specific where you're going to go for only one category within a particular waste type? What is it going to be? Number one, the multiple waste type. Let's say that you want to go for multiple waste types that you want your machine to process, but you have to understand, analyze, check whether will your machine be able to accept multiple waste types as such, or some pre-treatment has to be done. The pre-treatment could be in the form of sorting. It could be a manual sorting, robotic sorting, or it could even be a optical sorting. But towards the end stage where you want to recycle or re-engineer or do some activity on it, right, mixed input is going to give you a mixed output, unless until some more additional steps are taken on the waste type. So what is it going to be? There is nothing wrong in choosing multiple waste type. Let's take municipal solid waste. It has plastic, it has food, paper, or metals, everything mixed. So first you have to run through a sorter, separate it, and then you have to do your further steps on it. So this is about the multiple waste type. Sorting, then some other step. Coming to the second aspect, single waste type, but all of the categories underneath it. Will your machine be able to accept multiple categories? But generally, the machine technology or process has certain restriction. Each waste, each category within the waste, it comes in different shapes, size, structure, chemical structure. If you're going for all category within a single waste type, will your machine be able to accept multiple categories? If you look at categories, each has its own properties. It comes in different shapes, size, forms. The chemical structure could be different, the constituents could be different, the strength could be completely different. So because of that reason, a single machine generally will not be able to process all categories. So you need to have some pre-step and post-step or multiple machinery to process the various categories within a single waste type. That means more is going to be your costing in terms of the investment, in terms of the process. Again, let's decide that you want to go for it. Now the next question comes is that you want to give same equal weightage to all the categories and run the machine. And what if you are able to procure one category very easily because it is available in abundance, whereas for other category it is difficult? And what is going to happen? So you have to plan according to that. So what is going to be your allocation, your procurement plan is what is going to be. Sometimes people select based on availability. They might have multiple machinery, but again, depending on availability, they might process one particular category for the whole month, whereas the other machines are sitting idle. But that should not be the case. It's a very bad strategy. Whatever is the mission you have, all of them should be operating under an ideal capacity, a bare minimum capacity for you to break even. Underutilization is a very bad choice for any business. So what is going to be your choice? Well, let's take the third case where you're going to select particular category within a single waste type. Again, the same is more or less applicable, but over here you have narrowed down to your choice. Again, the same is going to get applicable. What is going to be your weightage allocation? Are you going to do depending on availability, and will there is going to be an underutilization or overutilization? So what is it going to be? Coming to the last option, super specific, where you're going to select a particular category within a waste type. This generally happens when people feel that that particular waste type category is available in abundance in the market. So because of that reason, people will go for the particular specific category and set up the machine for that. Or it might be the case that that particular category of waste, they know for sure that it is going to come in a pure form. So it is easier for them to process with the least resource. So because of that reason, they might go for it. Or it could be depending on the recovery. So they know that this particular waste, it has good material in it. Recycling or re-engineering might give them a better returns. So because of that reason, they might go for a specific category. But then you need to understand a couple of things over here. When you're going super specific, then what is going to happen? You have to do your due diligence very carefully. If you're going for a very small volume, considering that you have gone super specific, will you be able to break even? Will you be able to make profit? Because any machinery, if you take, it has to have a bare minimum capacity, then only it's safe, suitable, viable, feasible, economical. Otherwise, it's not going to work out. So what is going to be your strategy? Whether you're going to go for a small volume, a medium volume, large volume, or a super large volume. And what is going to happen if you go for a super large volume and you are not able to source or procure that much material? So what is going to be your strategy? What is going to be your risk mitigation plan? This is something that you have to bear in your mind. Let me give you an example with respect to e-waste. Printed circuit boards. which is the integral part of the electronic waste. Let's say that you have selected that I want to recycle printed circuit board to recover gold, silver, copper, or whatever material is there in it. Let's do a comparison. If you're going to do electronic waste, the price varies from 7 rupees per kg. It's good up to 1000, more than that per kg, depending on the type of material, because PCB is also part of it. So let's take that you are buying the material for 30 to 40 rupees per kg or 30 to 50 rupees per kg, just for argument's sake. This is not the price. Every product has its own price, 30 to 50 rupees per kg. Then let's say your monthly volume is 100 tons. So every month you will buy material for 30 to 50 lakhs. Or depending on your operation cycle, maybe you will buy more or you will buy lesser. And let's take the case that you have decided that you want to do printed circuit boards, maybe a medium grade or a high grade board. Somewhere the medium grade board, somewhere it costs 300 to 500 rupees per kg. High grade board, it costs 750 to 1000 rupees per kg. Then think about your volume. Your overall volume is going to fall down drastically, significantly. It's going to drop down. Then if you think, wow, the volume is so less, then with lesser volume I'll be able to make more profit. If that is your thought process, you're wrong. It doesn't work like that. Any machine, if you take, it has to operate with a minimum capacity. There has to be a utilization KPI. Otherwise, you are not able to break even. This is something that you have to bear in your mind. This is just for example. The pricing I told you is just for example. So this is something that you have to research when it comes to how are you going to analyze, review the trash technology. Will it accept one category, all category, multiple waste type? What is it going to be? What are the pre-steps, post-steps? What are the processes? How it is done? In the next Tech Tuesday series, I'm going to talk about the second half, which is the resource. I'll be talking about the technology in terms of the nature, the complexity, the stage, what kind of infrastructure is required to put up the machine, what are the factors you need to consider, what about the utility, the power, electricity, water, fuel, gas, what about the compliance, the regulations, the legal aspect, what is it going to be, what are the consumables. So this is what I'm going to talk in the next Tech Tuesday series. I'll see you tomorrow with another video as part of the waste type Wednesday, where I'm going to talk about the various waste types in the market.